Hi everybody, Steve Howley here with the Family Peace Initiative, and welcome to the next edition of the Facilitators Tool Chest blog. And I tell you, I was really pleased and honored to be at the BISME conference this last week and to hear some amazing speakers. Penelope Morrison sure stands out with the research she's doing into effective programs. And I want to thank all the people who came up to me and said that they have viewed these vlogs and that they're learning from what we're sharing out there into cyberspace. And thank you for coming up and saying hello. It's such a treat to meet people and hear what people are doing, and to know that maybe these vlogs are helping folks to just become better at their craft. It was really quite a thrill, and look forward to seeing you next year. One theme that we have heard frequently from facilitators is that they're going to hold people accountable for what was described in the police report. And I'm all for that. I think a police report is valuable information when it comes to assessing those who are using cruelty in relationships. It's very helpful in helping to identify motive, whether someone is entitled or survival-based or materially motivated, whatever it might be. But as a program, we've got to get past that police report. Because, I'm sure but when we think about people who are using battering behavior, who are using domination and control in their relationships, we're not talking about a single event. We're talking about a pattern of behavior. And a pattern of behavior means there's a whole bunch of it, right? This is something that routinely happens. It's a regular event. And so the police report is just a moment in a pattern of domination and control. And so what we're after is trying to capture the pattern, not only for ourselves as facilitators, but helping the participant understand that their behavior is a regular routine, right? Is having a common routine impact on their partner and their families. And so if we're just focused on the police report and holding somebody accountable for what they did that night when somebody called the police, when somebody asked for help, we are missing a huge slice of their dominating and controlling behaviors. And so what we want to do is really set up our classes to where people can share things that they don't have to share, but are just being introspective enough to be able to realize, oh, I have called my partner names on numerous occasions. Oh, I have pushed her on numerous occasions. I have pushed my partner. I have threatened my partner. This is behaviors that show up for me when we have disagreements, when I'm being held accountable by my partner. We want them to be able to identify the patterns in their life. It's not just about the police report. And so when we do that, there's simple ways, and I've talked about this before in other blog posts and vlog posts. But when we're talking about, in fact, I would encourage you to try this in your classes. Just make a list on the board. If you have a whiteboard or butcher paper or whatever it is, just make a list of all the ways that a person can be emotionally abusive. Just make a list with your group and come up with 50 ways that someone can be emotionally abusive, and get all the names that we can call people and all the faces that we can make at people and all the silent treatment and the ways we disregard and dismiss people, all the ways, right? Just make a list. And then just ask people to count on the list how many they have done in their relationships. Have them count, right? And that will be surprising to you, I suspect, because it was surprising to me the first time I did it. I was like, holy cow, everybody was identifying, 8, 12, 15. I mean, it was a whole bunch. Nobody said, oh, I've never done any of those, right? Because when we start thinking about beyond the police report into a pattern of behavior, we know that these behaviors are persisting in the relationships in almost everyone who gets referred to our program, right? And helping people to get past that police report to understanding that, oh, this shows up in my relationship a lot. Now we have some freedom to help people take ownership over things that we don't know about, that they didn't have to share, but they're doing it just because they're being introspective and internally focused. It's great. Chloe Madonis, who did work with adolescent sex offenders, she said that it was, her way of knowing whether or not somebody was being authentic and genuine is, are they telling us stuff that they didn't have to say? Are they acknowledging and taking ownership of cruelty that we had no way of knowing about, that they didn't have to say it, but they just wanted to include it in their conversation because they were really pursuing getting back to accountability, getting back to health, getting back to building a relationship built on respect and kindness. And so we want to set up opportunities as many times as possible to help people take responsibility and identify the things the behaviors that they didn't have to say, but they're just remembering, either on the list that we build or in the conversation that other people in the group is having. And I can tell you that my belief is that if people are digging into the parts of the abusive parts of themselves that they don't have to share, then they will just naturally take that police report and include that in the ways that they've been cruel. They may have difficulty with things like strangling, things like beating someone's head into the wall. As things get more severe, people become more and more cautious and more protected about acknowledging that. But once you've kind of built the groundwork and helping people to acknowledge some of these safer cruelties that they're able to talk about, that helps them fit into the group, then it's not much of a step to go the next step, which is to help them identify the behaviors that hold a tremendous amount of shame for them. But we don't start there. We don't start with the extreme, cruelties that people use in relationships. We warm up to it. And we can do it by helping them get into the pattern and talking about the ways that they have used these behaviors by just identifying them off of a list and writing them down and keeping as long a list as possible of all the cruelties that they have used in their relationships. And then we work our way to the big ones that were very, very dangerous and potentially life-threatening for their partners in many cases. So I want you to know that some people are thinking that you just hold people responsible for the police report. And I would say that's important, but it's not the sum total of what our mission is. The mission is to help people recognize and own the pattern of behavior and share the types of abuses and cruelty that they've used that they didn't have to say, that they only told us because they felt safe enough to acknowledge the things that could have been kept secret. So there you go. Have a great holiday. I know the Thanksgiving is coming up. I know Christmas is on the way. We are experiencing 70-degree November. I don't know what's happening around here, but I wish you guys the best. And please, if you run across my path, I'd love for you to say hello. And if you have any kind of comments on this blog post or any others, please let me know. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. So see you soon, and thanks for everything that you do.